Welcome to On the Record. My name is Linda Crockett. We are offering you the opportunity to see the faces and hear the voices of different professions each month. This will give you an opportunity to learn about workplace bullying, harassment, discrimination, racism in every profession. Stay tuned.
I'm Dr. Kelli Palfy. I served in the RCMP from 1995 to 2008. I worked in the gangs, drugs, integrated child sexual exploitation unit. And during that time, I also did 10 years of undercover work. Unfortunately, I went through some quite significant bullying and I didn't know how to stand up for myself. Some things were very overt, things like being yelled at, getting dirty looks, eye rolls, cheap shots. Other times it was being snubbed, the silent treatment, being excluded, being blamed for things I didn't do, or not being given credit for things that I did do. And some pretty significant career sabotaging. I was a bit naive. I always thought if I just worked hard that everything would work out in the end, but it didn't. Although it hurt at the time, to be honest, the pain that I went through is what gives me my motivation now and my insight in regards to the work that I do now with other trauma survivors and specifically with male survivors of sexual abuse. So I was working in the integrated child exploitation unit and they were training me to be a subject matter expert. And this is where I learned that males are victims of sexual assault too. I was being trained to be a subject matter expert and Sheldon Kennedy came and gave us a private lecture and it just blew my mind. He discussed his abuse and the reasons he hadn't disclosed. And I remember that my heart just sank. It was like, oh my gosh, society has failed you. Society has failed boys in general, that there are just no resources for boys and men. It's not okay for men to be victims. And he talked about living this double life. And that was the part that I really related to. That was me. I was living a total double life. I mean, at work, I would pretend that I had it all together, but I'd be going into the bathroom and bursting into tears or coming home and just falling apart. And I had done that for years and I pretended I had it all together, but I didn't. So I coped through athletics. I got really involved in triathlon. I did 3 half Ironmans and 1 full. And I had the energy to do this because I was so angry. I was so upset about what was happening to me. So I just sort of channeled that anger. I used to say it would take me 7 hours on the bike to get in a better mood. And that was not an exaggeration. But it turns out I was actually onto something, that the neuroscience now shows that the bilateral rhythmic movement like that is actually really good for healing. So I did lots of processing on the bike. And I also set new goals for myself. I remember being just past the halfway point in Ironman and saying, okay, what am I going to do with my life? Like, work is not working out. What am I going to do? And I just kind of decided to do my master's degree, and it was exciting and terrifying all at once. And I did start my master's degree, and around that time, my health just took a total nosedive. Bullying got worse, and I developed PTSD, clinical depression. I had severe rosacea. My face was just swollen out to here. I developed a bladder disorder, and I developed some really significant memory loss issues. And that is what scared me the most. I got really scared. That's what made me finally go to a doctor. And my doctor told me, I'd never met him before, but this doctor told me I was not allowed to go back to work. He literally took me off work and I was terrified. But I also knew it was the right decision because work was killing me, literally killing me physically. So, I mean, I started having suicidal thoughts. I did not know how I was going to support myself. I did not know how I was going to make it through this depression. And it's literally what brought me to my knees, like wanting to have something to be passionate about again. It was like a total turning point for me. I remember being on my knees on my bedroom floor, just crying out, saying, God, if you are real, I need you. And I just kept praying, God, give me something to be passionate about. And he reminded me of this Sheldon Kennedy lecture that I'd been to and how there was no resources for males. And I had a really good hard look in the mirror and I said, like, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? Like, what would be better than what I was doing? I don't believe in going backwards. And so for me, that was becoming a psychologist. So I literally spent the next 8 years in school. I was like, God, if you open the doors, I'll go. You know, I'm not afraid of hard work. So I spent the next 8 years reinventing myself, conducted my doctoral research, examining why so few boys and men were seeking help. And now advocating for males and being a support for male survivors is literally what brings me joy. I know it's a really weird career choice for a woman to make, but it makes me happy. So that's what I do. And I just published my first book called Men Too: Unspoken Truths About Male Sexual Abuse. And I co-authored 3 children's books designed to educate children, parents can read to their children, to have those awkward conversations. And yeah, I can honestly say I didn't know I could be this happy. And I think, getting on my knees was the beginning of that. So that's my story.
My name is Joangel Concepcion, and I'm the founder of Track and Assess mobile app, but I'm also a workplace bullying survivor. If you're experiencing any unwanted behavior, I really hope you know that you're not alone and that there's help right at your fingertips. It's beyond time to fight back and hold abusers accountable. Please visit trackassess.com to download the app and begin storing evidence today.
We hope that you've enjoyed listening to this segment. We know that there are many out there that are still suffering in silence, that don't have any idea what to do. And we want you to know that you're not alone. There are resources available for you. Stay just a few more seconds and see how to contact us. Thank you.